What's up, team? Welcome to the video. We are in Las Vegas. Just got done with a bachelor party. So I am in my hotel room that I got for tonight because I'm flying back tomorrow. I wanted to take Sunday to just get caught up on work and then fly back. I have a series of questions from a coaching client named Vane, who there's like 5 questions stacked in a row, and I get these types of questions a lot, so I want to talk about them with all of you here on the YouTubes. So let's get into it. He's asking about calorie needs for him versus his girlfriend, protein specific needs, and gluconeogenesis, which is a process where the body uses muscle or uses protein as an energy source, uses amino acids as energy. So not protein from food, rather you lose muscle mass for energy, and like when and why that happens and how to avoid that happening. So his girlfriend seems to be doing something he used to do, which was take calories way too low, into the 1200 range. For most men, 1200 calories is not going to be enough, like, to sustain life, even if you're in a large calorie deficit. There are instances, for example, I was playing poker the other night and there was a guy who was on a doctor-supervised very low-calorie plan where he lost an insane amount of weight in 5 months on like 800 to 900 calories a day, like with some supplementation as well. But for most people, 1200 calories is going to be too low for dudes, especially when maintaining lean tissue is a goal. Because we want to remember that the size and duration of the calorie deficit, so how many calories under your maintenance level you're eating per day, and how long you're in a calorie deficit, 1 month versus 10 months, both of those factors are going to play into how much muscle you lose in the process. So Vane, when you say like 1200 calories, super low intake, and your girlfriend's now trying to do that for fat loss, what you need to remember is that your calorie maintenance level, which can be estimated using the Catch-McCardle equation, your BMR can be estimated using the Catch-McCardle equation, and then a multiplier used to estimate your calorie maintenance. Really, tracking intake and paying attention to progress is the best way to estimate your maintenance. But what you need to realize is 1200 is very low for you, which is why I don't have your intake set that low. But for your girlfriend, it might actually not be that big a deficit. It might be a 1.5 pound per week deficit. I'd recommend reading an article, or I'd recommend she read an article, or any of you ladies, that I link below, called How Many Calories Should a Woman Eat for Fat Loss, that I wrote a couple years ago, that gets more into that. Continuing here, I've heard that your body goes into starvation mode and will hold on to fat when you take your intake too low. That actually is not true. So what can happen when you're in too large a calorie deficit is that the adaptive component of your metabolism will come down. Like BMR will come down slightly, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, random fidgeting movement, etc. Most people are going to burn fewer calories via non-exercise activity thermogenesis when they're in a larger calorie deficit, because, like you said, your body is starving and it's going to genetically, biologically do what it can to not starve, meaning burn unnecessary calories. But the myth that like someone who has a 2500 calorie maintenance and they eat 2000 calories and they're losing a pound a week for simplicity's sake, but then if they were to eat 1500 calories, they would actually stop losing weight or they would gain body fat. That's simply not true. So there isn't like when you take calories too low, your body actually stores more fat or hangs on to fat. There's just zero evidence to support that claim. Super common misconception, so don't feel bad about thinking that, bro. I've heard you eat your own muscles for energy and weight, and the weight you lose is actually muscle weight. Is that true? Yes. So like I mentioned before, the size of your calorie deficit and the duration of the time spent in a calorie deficit are both relevant to how much muscle mass you lose in that process. The other things that are very relevant are your style of training, and anecdotally, I have found that strength training close to intensity or close to max intensity in multiple rep ranges is the best way to maintain lean tissue through the process of a 3 to 12-month calorie deficit, depending on the person and how much body fat they need to lose. Protein intake is also important for not losing lean tissue. And I'm not going to get into the semantics here because like a lot of people like to point to the 0.8 grams per pound of body weight study. There are multiple articles, and if you want to get into detail on this, Eric Helms is the first dude I'd check out. I think Brad Schoenfeld has some stuff where he's reviewing studies of how much protein is necessary to not lose lean tissue, or basically how much protein intake is necessary or optimal in different situations. But a gram per pound of body weight is a good benchmarker. I've actually taken some dudes, lean dudes with a decent amount of lean mass, above that in the 1 to 1.3 gram per pound of body weight. I've had a lot of women that I have well below a gram per pound of body weight, because there are lifestyle factors that we need to think about too. And one of those is, were you eating 36 grams of protein per day prior to starting this, and you weigh 190 pounds, and then you try and take protein to 190, and you just can't stomach it, and you're nauseous, and you feel like shit, and you're like, I'm gonna quit this diet? In that case, maybe let's shoot for 100 grams. Let's shoot for 0.5 grams per pound of body weight. So there are many factors, but protein intake to not lose muscle while in a calorie deficit is important. Aim for a gram per pound of body weight. Keep strength training intensity high 3 to 5 days a week. And pay attention to the size of your calorie deficit. If you're losing 3 pounds per week versus losing 1 pound per week, you're more likely when you're in a bigger deficit for some of that weight loss to be muscle. I think that about covers it. All right, we're uploading this. We're having daily vlogs soon, team. I'm super pumped. I don't think I've talked to you about this. I sent out an email to my email list. I'm hiring a full-time videographer. I'm not 100% sure who that person is yet, but we're starting daily vlogs very, very soon. Had a lot of good applications, just a lot of applications, and a lot of really good ones too. But I'm very excited. I'm going back to Croatia Friday, June 9th. So in 5 days, to keep the ultimate sweat going. Yeah, that's it. All right, thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you like the video. See you soon.